Here's your WeatherCast America Quickcast for May 8th, 2025. In this forecast, we're going to break down the big warm-up for a large portion of the country, as well as the persistent pattern of rain and storms for other parts of the country that will hold through Mother's Day weekend at least into the middle of next week. So let's get into it. First, here's a look at the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center severe outlook for Thursday. The SPC notes a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, for severe weather in parts of the southern Appalachians, for portions of southeast Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, and far western portions of Virginia and the Carolinas. Surrounding that slight risk is a very broad marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for severe weather, for much of the southeast and mid-Atlantic. This activity will increase with daytime heating in the afternoon under the cooler core of that cutoff low pressure meandering through the region. The primary threat will be scatter damaging winds, but some larger hail will be possible in storms with stronger updrafts. Meanwhile, we look for another shortwave trough in South Texas into northern Mexico. This region will be supportive of supercells with the potential for some very large hail on Thursday afternoon. A tornado or two is not out of the question, especially in the lower Rio Grande Valley from near Laredo down to Brownsville. On Friday, we'll see the chances for more showers and storms, some isolated severe storms again in the southeast and Gulf Coast. As of this recording, the SPC has a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, for severe weather in the Florida Panhandle up through eastern portions of the Carolinas. This activity is going to be the theme over the next 3 to 5 days, with shower and storm activity enhanced by that cutoff low. With the main flow of the jet stream pushed into Canada and parts of the Northeast, this low is stuck in the southeast from any major steering current. That low will continue to pull Gulf moisture northward and keep the southeast cooler than average and wet. This won't be days of all-day rain, so if you have any Mother's Day activities, sports, graduations, or trips, you'll just have to keep an eye on the skies and maybe have some alternate plans in case things get stormy around your event time. Looking at the HRRR model, we can see the big hailers form in the Rio Grande Valley on Thursday afternoon. According to this model run, we also see some stronger storms develop closer to the Texas Gulf Coast. If that trend over model runs continues, I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center expands that slight risk further to the east on Thursday afternoon. In our last forecast video, we successfully forecasted severe risk expansion over 24 hours before that severe risk, thanks in large part to the reliability of the model runs. Looking out over the weekend, we see that reinforcing trough dig into the northeast and deepen on Friday into Saturday. This is another feature that we highlighted in the last forecast video before some even mentioned the increased chances of rain for the weekend. Good news, this system will pull away from the region by Mother's Day and leave behind a picture-perfect weather day for Sunday in the northeast. We also see signs of the cutoff low hanging around in the southeast. That will continue to keep temperatures cooler than normal and also enhance destabilization, creating more widespread pop-up afternoon storms going through the weekend and possibly even into early next week. Looking at the models, we can see this low will be reinforced as it stays cut off from the jet stream. That deepening of the low over the weekend may lead to even a little more storm enhancement from stronger pool of Gulf moisture. Although we're still a few days out, I think we will see some more marginal risk severe weather days over the weekend, very similar to the risk on Friday for the southeast. And that sucks that some of this will come over the weekend, but some good news as the increased rain chances and storms under this persistent cutoff low will be beneficial to parts of the southeast that are under drought conditions with below average spring precip. Outside of that low pressure, the ridge is going to strengthen in the plains and Midwest, and on the flip side, areas in the upper Midwest will be well above average for temperatures. Areas like Minneapolis may see their first 90-degree temp of 2025. As we look further into next week, as that cutoff low in the southeast weakens, we'll see the below average temperatures moderate. And by the middle of next week, it's likely we'll have average to above average temperatures for much of the eastern 2/3 of the continental US. For many, this will be the first taste of some summer-like heat. Looking out further into next week, the current model runs show the cutoff low will hang around into the early portion of the week, but slowly degrade. That should reduce some of those storm chances in the southeast. While that low finally gets out of the picture, we'll see the ridge pattern in the plains still holding strong, and that will keep temperatures warm for the central US. Areas like Denver that had snow just a week or two ago will see temperatures pushing into the mid-80s in next week. By the middle of next week, we'll see the pattern with strong ridging in the east and central portions of the continental US, and the deepening trough in the west, possibly bringing some rain and storm chances back to the west coast, as well as some below average temperatures in that region. We'll also have to keep an eye by the middle to late next week of a trough ejection from the Rockies into the high plains. This pattern shift will kick that stalled omega block pattern and likely also be the focal point for increased severe weather in the central US. As we get through this weekend, we'll get a better idea of the next widespread severe weather event for the US. It's way too early to be looking at the tropics, but there was an outlier model run that hit social media earlier this week showing a Category 4 hurricane developing in the Caribbean basin by around May 19th. And I just want to add on this video, that's not going to happen. So please be careful of any social media accounts trying to hype up clickbait model outliers. There are some signs of increased storminess in the Southwest Caribbean by the middle of the month from a developing Central American gyre. And that gyre is a typical feature in late spring that can lead to flooding in Central America regardless of any tropical development. This broad area of low pressure can also spin off more organized development, tropical or subtropical systems, especially in the Pacific where hurricane season usually gets going a little earlier than the Atlantic season. But if any tropical development spins up in the Atlantic from the Central American gyre, it's much more likely it will be a weak tropical storm or depression. With the potential for big hailstorms in Texas on Thursday, a continued stormy weather pattern in the southeast, a heat wave for the plains, and a potential for more widespread severe weather by the middle to late next week, we'll be busy here on WeatherCast America with additional forecast videos and live streaming of severe weather coverage. Please like and subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon to get notifications when we go live. As we near the peak of severe weather season, it's important to stay weather aware and have multiple ways to get warnings and updates.